Hi, welcome again. Today I'm going to explain the family and fantasy movie, Eragon. So let's get started. For 1,000 years, a dragon was waiting for its mate. But one day, a simple village boy suddenly finds a blue stone while hunting. However, he didn't understand what kind of stone it actually was. But as soon as he realized it, one unbelievable event after another started happening. So come on, today let's witness an unforgettable adventure with this boy. At the beginning of the story, we see a boy named Eragon. Neither of his parents are alive. He lives with his uncle and cousin. Eragon and his cousin are very good friends. To earn a living, they used to hunt animals and birds from the forest and collect food by farming next to the house. One day, Eragon runs into the forest with his bow and arrow to hunt deer. After a while, a deer comes in front of him. But when he hits the deer with his arrow, a bright light dazzles his eyes. Eragon doesn't understand how this happened. When the light goes out, he sees a big blue stone lying in place of the deer. Eragon comes forward and picks up the stone. He couldn't understand what happened to him. This stone was actually stolen by a princess named Arya from another kingdom. That time was such a time when kings were very dependent on black magic. There were terrible wizards in their kingdom, and they used to control the weak kingdoms by showing the fear of this magic. Among them, the worst king was Gali. And so Arya and her team used to fight against this king. But they were so many in number that Arya lost this war. To defeat Gali, they had to wait for a new power. And according to the prophecy, this blue stone will be able to protect them from Gali. For this reason, Arya was taking the stone and running away to escape from the king's soldiers. But after a while, the wizard Darja comes in front of her, and he was so powerful that Arya could not match his power at all. Then Arya was forced to take the blue stone in her hand and chant a mantra. Immediately, the stone disappeared from there. After that, Darja captured Arya with his magic. Meanwhile, that blue stone has now come in front of Eragon. Eragon got the stone and couldn't figure out what to do with it. So he comes to the village butcher with the stone. And in exchange for this stone, he wants meat from the butcher. But the butcher himself could not understand what it was after seeing the stone. He asks Eragon, "Where did you get this?" Eragon says he brought it from the area of King Gali in the forest. Hearing the name of King Gali, the butcher says, "No, I will not take it," because everyone is very afraid of him. Even no one takes his name. Frustrated, Eragon comes out of the butcher's shop. Suddenly, his eyes fall on a middle-aged man sitting in front. While leaving from there, the king's soldiers were making fun of him. But the man was silently tolerating everything. Seeing this, Eragon's mind becomes even worse. Actually, there was no way to speak against the king in this kingdom. After this, Eragon returned home, and the two friends started working in the agricultural land. The bonding between them was very good since childhood. One day, the cousin says that he will go far away from here, because now he is almost 19 years old. And according to the rules of the kingdom, once a boy turns 19, the king forcibly enlists all the boys into the army. But the cousin doesn't want this, so he will leave here before he turns 19. When Eragon's brother said goodbye to them, Eragon felt very bad. Eragon became very disappointed after his cousin left. One day, when he was sitting sadly at night, suddenly the blue stone in front of him started to move. Eragon couldn't understand how it was moving, so when he went to see it closely, it immediately broke, and a dragon baby came out of it. Actually, it was a dragon's egg. Eragon was completely surprised to see a dragon in front of his eyes. Moreover, the baby dragon was very cute, so whenever Eragon touched it, another ray of light spread out, and because of this light, Eragon lost consciousness and fell to the ground. As soon as this incident happened, King Gali, Arya, and the middle-aged man opened their eyes. They also realized that the dragon had been born. In the morning, when Eragon woke up, he saw the dragon lying on his lap, and Eragon looked at his hand and saw a round mark there. Maybe this happened because of touching the dragon. On the other hand, the sorcerer Darja comes to Arya at that time, and to find out who has the egg, Darja performs black magic on Arya. When he comes to know that it is with Eragon, Darja summons a monster army with his magic and tells them to find Eragon. Meanwhile, in the village market, the elderly people were worried about the boys of their village, because the king's soldiers come and take away all those who are over 19 years of age, and then that middle-aged man comes there. The man's name was Brahm. He then begins to tell everyone how at one time this kingdom was a meeting place of dragons and riders. Any powerful kingdom was afraid to attack this kingdom. But everything changes when a dragon rider betrays his own team. And currently he is the king and ruling everyone. Actually, Brahm was talking about King Gali all this time. Eragon was there and he was listening to Brahm's words very attentively. But then some soldiers came and took the man away from there and told him to keep quiet. The next day, Eragon comes to the playground with his dragon and teaches it to fly. After trying for a while, the dragon starts flying in the sky, and in no time it rises very high, and in the blink of an eye, it disappears into the sky. Eragon was standing below thinking, maybe the dragon has left him. So he stands there sadly, But after a while, when he looks up again, he sees that the dragon has become a full-grown dragon from his small one in no time. At that moment, Eragon sees that the mark on his hand has lit up. As soon as the dragon comes down, Eragon can hear his thoughts. The dragon says that he has waited 1,000 years for someone like Eragon, and from now on Eragon will be his rider. The dragon also says that his name is Sophia, and from today she will take care of Eragon. Eragon was very surprised by all this. He comes to Brom's house at night to know more about the dragon. Eragon secretly enters Brom's room and finds a book there. And as soon as he opens the book, he sees that it has a lot written about dragons. But then Brom comes and catches him and tells him to leave from here. But Eragon stubbornly says, "Tell me more about the dragon. I want to know all this." Then Brom tells him, "Leave here quietly and work in your field. Don't just increase your danger by knowing these things." Eragon gets angry at Brom's words, and he leaves from there cursing Brom. Then, while passing in front of the butcher's shop, he hears screams. Eragon goes near and sees that the monsters sent by Darja are torturing the butcher inside, and he is asking him who got the blue stone. The butcher tells Eragon's name to save his own life, but even then, the monsters kill the butcher and leave from there. Eragon realizes that now the monsters will go to his house, so he runs towards his house without delay to save his uncle. Just then, Sophia comes from the sky and picks him up. Sophia says it is very dangerous for you to go home now, but Eragon repeatedly tells her to drop him down, because he loves his uncle very much. Sophia says it is no longer possible to save your uncle, but Eragon didn't want to listen to any of her words. At one point, he forced Sophia to come down, and he ran home and saw that the monsters had killed his uncle because they couldn't find him. Seeing this, Eragon breaks down because his uncle was his only relative. He comes out and starts blaming Sophia. He says, "It's all your fault. My uncle died today because of you. You will never come in front of me again." Saying this, he drives Sophia away from there. Then Eragon came to his uncle and sat beside his dead body and cried. Just then Brom comes there. Eragon attacks him, thinking him to be a monster, but Brom stops Eragon. And then Brom sees the dragon rider's mark on Eragon's hand. Then Brom says, "You have to come with me right now. Your life is in danger here." But Eragon was not ready to leave from there without giving his uncle his last farewell. Then Brom sets fire to his uncle's body and starts to take Eragon away from there. Eragon was still reluctant to go, but Brom forcibly puts him on a horse and takes him far away from the kingdom. Then Brom asks Eragon, "Where is your dragon?" Eragon says, "I have driven him away, because he didn't let me go to him when my uncle died." Then Brom says, "What your dragon did is right, because you and your dragon could not do anything in front of those monsters." Then Brom says, "Bring your dragon back quickly. You two are each other's companions now, and so one is weak without the other." Eragon then again calls Sophia in his mind. Immediately Sophia comes there. Eragon apologizes to her for misbehaving with her. On the other hand, Darja then sends another group of soldiers to find Eragon, and Brom had already guessed this, so to trick them, they plan to go to the garden through the forest. Actually, the garden is a place where some rebel warriors live hidden in the caves of the mountains, and only they will be able to help Eragon in the war against Gali. Brom then tells Sophia, "Don't come to us except at night, because now we have to be very careful and move forward. If we make any mistake, everything will be over." After going some distance, Eragon sees a group of robbers torturing common people. Brom forbids him from going to help them, but Eragon then says with a lot of attitude, "I can wield a sword very well. You have no idea about me." So Brom then challenges him to a fight with him to check Eragon's skill, but Eragon loses there very badly. This breaks Eragon's misconception. Because of his young age, he was always a little more courageous and also foolish. After a while, evening falls, and so if you have to spend the night in the forest, you have to light a fire. Brom tries to light a fire in one place, but even after rubbing stones together, the fire was not burning. Then Eragon tells him, "Why bother so much? Just tell Sophia and she will be able to breathe fire." But Brom informs him, "Sophia will not be able to breathe fire yet." Saying this, Brom reads some kind of spell. The fire lights up immediately. Seeing this spell being read, Eragon becomes curious again. He kept asking Brom, "How did you do this?" But Brom avoids the matter. They spent the night, and the next morning they set off again. This time, after coming some distance, they see a village above a river. Brom then gives Eragon some money and says, "You buy some food from here." Saying this, he goes to meet someone. Eragon then enters a house while wandering around, and there he meets a girl named Angela. This girl could actually see the future, so she then starts telling Eragon's future. Angela starts telling Eragon, "Every night a girl calls you in your dreams. She is related to your past and future. There will be a big war for you, and through this war, the fate of all the kingdoms of the world will change." Eragon then asks Angela what the girl's name is. But before Angela could tell him anything, the robber gang sent by Darja comes there. When they try to catch Eragon, Brom comes there and saves him. but the number of robbers was very large, so they were running away, but the robbers were chasing them. Then Eragon takes his bow and arrow and reads a spell and throws it at the robbers. Immediately it is seen that, with its power, some of the robbers are thrown around. At the same time, a large part of the bridge is broken, but as a result of using such powerful magic, Eragon faints there. When he regains consciousness the next morning, he sees Braum sitting with him. Braum then says, "I am surprised. How did you learn so quickly the magic that dragon riders take years to learn? That means you have talent in you. You just need to know how to use it at the right time." Then Braum teaches Eragon several more magic spells. At the same time, he puts a beautiful seat on Sophia's back for Eragon to sit on. Eragon was then practicing the magic of seeing everything from the sky while riding with Sophia. And just then he notices two monsters approaching Braum. So to save him, Eragon comes with Sophia. But because of entering the forest, Sophia collided with a tree and got seriously injured. At the same time, the monsters attacked them all. Braum there kills all the monsters one by one with his sword. However, Braum is angry with Eragon for Sophia getting injured due to his wrong decision. Then Eragon learns that Braum was actually a dragon rider, but one rider killed his dragon. To take revenge, Braum also killed that rider. Since this battle, the number of dragon riders began to decrease. Actually, if the relationship between humans and dragons is not good, the birth rate of dragons decreases. And at present, the amount of lies and deceit among humans has increased, so the number of dragons is also much less than before. After sleeping that night, Eragon dreams of Arya. In the dream, she tells Eragon, "Darja will kill me. Only you can save me." After the dream breaks, Eragon was preparing to save Arya, but Braum comes there and stops him, because they have now almost reached near the rebel group, and going back to Darja's hideout again now would be the biggest foolishness. Even Sophia tries to make him understand, but even after listening to no one, Eragon goes straight to Darja's hideout. He was first watching Darja's palace from outside with Sophia, and when it gets dark he secretly enters the palace. Inside, he uses Sophia's eye power to find Arya, but as soon as he comes near Arya, Arya tells him to leave from here immediately, because bringing Eragon here like this was Darja's plan. Then, Darja comes from behind. He was a powerful sorcerer. Darja tries to kill Eragon with his magic. Eragon also uses magic to escape from his hand, but he becomes weak due to using too much magic. At one point, Darja picks up a spear and throws it at Eragon. Just then, Braum jumps in front of Eragon, and the spear hits Braum. Seeing Braum fall into the lap of death like this in front of his eyes, Eragon gets angry. He throws an arrow straight at Darja's forehead. Then Darja disappears from there. At the same time, Arya is also freed from Darja's magic. Then while escaping from there, the palace guards attack them. While fighting with them, Eragon notices that a stranger boy is helping them. At the same time, Sophia also breaks the roof and comes inside. She quickly flies away from there with Arya, Eragon, and the sick Braum. Eragon thinks maybe he has killed Darja, but Braum, who is on his deathbed, tells him, "Darja is not dead yet. To kill him, you have to hit his heart." However, Eragon was not at all worried about it then. He felt bad seeing Braum die in front of his eyes. So he tries to use his magical power to save Braum, but he was not strong enough then to save Braum. After a while, Braum breathes his last. Sophia carries Braum on her back and flies in the sky before his death, because she wanted to give Braum the death of a respected dragon rider. Then everyone together buries Braum on a mountain. Sophia turns his grave into a crystal. Then Eragon and Arya again set off to go to the rebel group. But suddenly Arya becomes ill again, in the middle of the road, because Darja is again doing black magic on her. Then Sophia says, "Someone is following us." After a while she flies and catches a boy and throws him in front of Eragon. This boy was the stranger boy who helped Eragon in Darja's palace. The boy says his name is Max. Galli's soldiers killed his entire family when he was a child, so he was waiting for the opportunity, when the new dragon rider will come, and he can take him to fight against the king. By then Arya's condition worsens, so they have to reach the rebels' hideout as soon as possible. Max says he knows all the roads in the area, so he can easily get them there. Then they all set off again towards the rebels' hideout. On this side, King Galli gets very angry at this news. He calls Darja and insults him and says, "You couldn't kill a little child?" Galli was always afraid, because if the time of the dragon riders comes back, then he will not be able to rule. The riders always protested against injustice, and the king did not have the courage to stand in front of them. So the king again sends the robber gang with many soldiers. They are told, kill Eragon, and then come back no matter what. Then, risking their lives, Eragon and others reach the rebels' hideout. There, after talking to their leader, they ask to treat Arya quickly. Then it is seen that the rebels ask to arrest Max, but when Eragon stops them, the rebels say, "Max is the son of the traitor dragon rider, because of whom everyone is in this miserable condition today." But Max says, he is not like his father, Rather, he himself is ashamed of his father's deeds, but still the rebels keep him captive. On the other hand, after many years getting a dragon rider, the rebels start taking great care of Eragon. Within a few days, Arya recovers. And here, Darja, on Gally's orders, was preparing for war against the rebels with a huge army. The rebels have also prepared themselves. The rebels elect Eragon as the leader of their group. By this time, a good bond is formed between Eragon and Sophia. Now Sophia can also breathe fire from her mouth. Then the war begins. When the rebels are about to defeat the robber gang, Darja appears there with an even more powerful team. But this time Eragon and Sophia take the field. Eragon attacks Darja's team directly with Sophia. Sophia breathes fire from her mouth and burns Darja's soldiers below. Standing above, when Darja sees that his team cannot survive because of Eragon, he creates a huge dragon with his black magic. Then, flying in the sky, the battle between Eragon and Darja begins. Seeing Eragon's courageous fight in the sky, the rebels below also start fighting against the enemies with double enthusiasm. During the fight in the sky, suddenly Darja notices that Eragon is not on Sophia's back. Then, with the help of Sophia's tail, he jumps and catches Darja. And with the special sword given by Brahm, he hits Darja's heart, and Darja dies there. With Darja's death, all his magic and soldiers also disappear. The rebels win the war, but in this war, both Eragon and Sophia are seriously injured. They fall to the ground. Sophia herself gets seriously injured while trying to save Eragon. Eragon then tries to do magic with all his might to heal Sophia, but after a while he loses consciousness and falls to the ground. When Eragon regains consciousness, he sees Max beside him. As soon as he regains consciousness, he asks about Sophia. Just then Sophia appears there. Then it is seen that Arya was returning to her country. Then Eragon stops her way and says, "What's the matter? You are leaving without saying goodbye to me." Arya says, "I am going to warn my kingdom, because, after losing to us, Gally will not sit quietly. He may be preparing for an even bigger war. But before that, we all have to be prepared. And a warrior like you is with us." Arya says, "I will see you again." Then she says goodbye to Eragon. At this farewell moment, both become emotional, because, in these few days, they have fallen in love with each other. Then it is seen that Gally is also very angry, and as soon as he takes out his sword, his dragon roars. This indicated that surely a bigger war was coming, and at this moment, the movie ends. So friends, how did you like today's story? Please comment and subscribe to the channel to get such new stories. Be well everyone, stay safe, Tata.